Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this presentation of Strat-O-Matic 1972. We are at opening day at Wrigley Field. Thought I'd christen this 1972 set that I bought last week. And what better way to do that than with a great pitching matchup between Steve Carlton and Ferguson Jenkins. And I'm also doing something a little bit different. I haven't done a recorded video in a long, long time. Usually all these games are live streams. I'm going to try the recorded video. One of the reasons why I'm going to do that is I'm also trying and testing out as I play this. And I'll see if I can't turn this little light out, maybe make it work a little better here. You can see I took a picture of this. I can't show it on my screen because I don't have that technology in my favor yet. But this is the Action PC baseball game with the 1972 season already installed and the game already logged in. And as you can see right here with my fingers pointing, that is the direct entry screen. So I'll be direct entering this in the Action PC computer and as I play it. So hopefully this will be my first chance using direct entry, so I'm hoping that it works out and doesn't cause a big mess. I don't know. Let me see if I can get this thing lined up. I'll try to get a little bit closer to the cards if I can, but that's also limiting my width on showing the cards and the dice, but I want to get closer so you can actually see them better, hopefully. So we're going to try it out and see what happens. We've got our Chicago Cub colored dice. And of course we have the Phillies and the Cubs. And Steve Carlton and Ferguson Jenkins are your pitchers that are going to be going at it. I did use the Diamond Mine baseball game to give me the rosters for the teams for opening day, the bench players and the bullpen players, and the pitchers are going to start the next 3 games. So I pulled those 3 pitchers out, so I won't use them in relief by accident. But everybody else that I have listed in the bullpen, even though they start some, they don't start right away, so they're eligible for the bullpen. All right, Steve Carlton, Ferguson Jenkins, both 20-game winners. In fact, Steve Carlton 27-10 with a 1.97 ERA on arguably the worst team in the league at that time, which was the Philadelphia Phillies. As you can see, he's got a fatigue of 9, as does Ferguson Jenkins, a fatigue of 9. So if they pitch well, we could get a double complete game out of this, and we'll see how it plays out. The game is at Wrigley Field, played on April the 15th, 1972. And very friendly confines at Wrigley Field. Singles are 1-16 for left, 1-13 for right, and home runs are 19 on both sides. Philadelphia actually won this game real world 4-2. Jenkins is a +1 hold, but Hundley's a -2 arm, so he has a net -1. Carlton's a 0 hold, but McCarver is a +2 hold, so Carlton has a +2 on his holding factor. All right, so Ferguson Jenkins on the 72 season, 20-12 with a 3.20 ERA. He will be finishing up his warm-up tosses. And Larry Boa, the leadoff man for the Phillies. And I'm going to have to try to work this out the best I can. I'm trying to see what's on the screen, see what you guys are seeing, but I also want to put it in the computer into the Action PC game. So hopefully it's not going to be too clunky. I'm going to try it. Hopefully the flow will be better once I get used to what I'm doing here. But it's going to take me a couple seconds, at least probably the first inning, to get the flow just right. All right, so here's Larry Boa against Ferguson Jenkins, and we're underway. That's a 6'8" switch hitter batting left, and that is a strikeout right off the bat. Ferguson Jenkins with his first strikeout of the ball game. And going to the Action PC direct entry, the strikeout is pretty simple. You just click the K button and hit go, and you're ready to go for the next batter. So that part is not a problem. So Boa is out of there. Here's Tim McCarver, catcher. Kind of became the personal catcher for Steve Carlton over the years. 5-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We have our first X chance. Don Kessinger, the shortstop, is a 2E30. 2E30, 2 and a 10. 2 and a 10 should not be an issue. 2 and a 10 is a G1. That's good. And that is a 13. And he is an E30. So we'll check the E30 at shortstop. There's a 4, 12, 3, 17, and 18. So there's not going to be an error. He will make the play. Scored a 6-3 ground out. And we go to the computer and type in or not type in, but just click the GB and hit the shortstop, and it automatically gives you a 6-3 ground out. And there you go, 2 outs. That brings up Willie Montañez. I'm used to him playing first base, but he's in center field for this game. It's a 3-5, and he's going to strike out. So Ferguson Jenkins making short work of the Phillies here in the top of the first. I'm trying to see if there's hotkeys on this thing for the direct entry, but I don't think there is, where I can use the keyboard instead of the mouse, but I don't think that has that function. It may. I mean, I'm brand new to it, so if somebody else can, knows about it, and if there is that option, I'll be more than happy to explore it. All right, here's Steve Carlton. He was 27-10, 197 ERA. I'm assuming he won the Cy Young Award this year. I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming he did. And Jose Cardinal, the right fielder, will lead off for the Cubbies against lefty. It's a 5-8, and that's going to be a ground ball second base X. We are looking at Denny Doyle. He's a 2E14. You'd think he would get to this. 2 and a 7. Going to be close, but I think he'll do it. 2 and a 7 is a G2, but that's a 16, or actually a 17, so that might be trouble. He's an E14, and that's a 17. He escapes. The errors are 15, 16, and 18, not a 17. So how about that? Denny Doyle makes the play and avoids the error. And there's one away as Jose Cardinal is retired. 4-3. One away for Glenn Beckert. One thing I'm noticing already by doing the direct entry like this is my pace that I usually use for Strat-O-Matic games, especially the pace I've been using for the 1987 season. That has kind of slowed down a bit. But, hey, no reason to rush, right? Why not take our time and enjoy it? Here's Glenn Beckert. 1-3, and that's a ground ball first base C. And I used the old adage that T. Clee baseball fan taught me a long time ago, and that is on a first base X or a first base C. Instead of doing 3 unassisted, we make it 3-1, where it's a difficult grounder, and the only way the first baseman can make the play is if he flips it to the pitcher covering. So it's going to be first baseman. Let's see. Can I make this where he's 3-1? Okay, there you go. So that's good. When I type in on the direct entry and I hit ground ball first base, it defaults to 3 unassisted, but there's a drop-down menu beneath it where you can change it to 3-1 or 3-4. So that works out really, really well. And use 3-4 on the bunts most likely. But that's a really nice feature there. Very glad that was there. I was thinking I was going to have to jimmy something and, MacGyver it to get it to work, but didn't need to. All right, here's Billy Williams, sweet swinging Billy Williams, as they called him back in the day. Lefty on lefty matchup, 2-8. That's a ground ball to first. This one with an A, so it's just going to be a simple 3 unassisted, or I learned this from Diamond Mine Baseball a long time ago. I just call it 3G because sometimes the U, I get confused with that being an unearned run or something like that. So I just do 3G. It's just one of the ways I do it. It's just from learned behavior is all I can tell you. Learned behavior. So that's the end of the first inning. No score for either side. And believe me, anybody who's ever scored a baseball game probably does it slightly different than every other person in the world. It's like a fingerprint. Everybody's got their own unique little idiosyncrasies. I mean, some things are standard, like if it's a ground ball to short, you can put 6-3 there, but there are other little things that people do that kind of make it their own, which is really, really neat. It's one of the beauties of scoring the game. All right, here's Darren Johnson, first baseman, against Jenkins. We got a 6-3, and that's a ballpark blast. The diamonds really, I noticed here on the font on these diamonds are kind of interesting. The 87 set certainly isn't like that. This is a ballpark blast, and that's bad news because it's a home run for a 19 So even on a 17, Darren Johnson has normal power. He's going to go deep. Darren Johnson just goes deep off of Ferguson Jenkins, courtesy of Wrigley Field. Look at it again. 6-3 is the ballpark blast. 1-19. He's got normal power. It's gone. And Darren Johnson. And Johnson only had 9 homers on the whole season in 230 at-bats, but he gets one there courtesy of a windblown Wrigley Field with the balls flying out in this one. So that'll bring up the bull, Greg Luzinski. So let's put in the home run for Johnson before I forget. I scored on the computer. I got to make sure I scored on the score sheet. Doing double duty here. All right, here's Luzinski. We get a 6-6, and that's going to be a 1-5 triple. That's a 14, so Luzinski will just single, and he'll settle with that single. And so trouble here in the second inning for Jenkins. Home run and now a single. Of course, Luzinski does not run well. He will not be held. And here is Don Money, but now we have our first havoc roll of the game since there's base runners. Nothing happening. Here's Don Money. For 12, that's a ballpark blast there. And that's trouble. That's a 19, and he's got normal power, and that's a 1. That's gone. So Ferguson Jenkins done in by the ballpark blast for the second time, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 favor the Phillies. Home run courtesy of Don Money. He was cash money on that one. And it is 3-0. All of a sudden, Jenkins was rolling along until he started finding these ballpark blasts, and it got him into trouble. Here is Mike Anderson, right fielder. 6-5, and that's trouble here. In home run 1-19. He's got normal power, and that's gone. Back-to-back jacks. Look at it again. Try to get a little closer over here. Maybe you can see it better. I don't know. 6-5 is an in-home run chance. 1-19. That's an 18. He's got normal power. So Mike Anderson, he only hit 2 home runs and 103 at-bats, but they give him normal power against right-handers. He's weak against lefties, but normal against righties. And he takes Ferguson Jenkins deep as well. And it is now 4-0. And that's exactly the runs that the Phillies scored in their whole game. And they've got it here in the second inning with still nobody out. And Ferguson Jenkins has given up 3 gopher balls. And here comes Denny Doyle. That's a 5-6. He's a lefty, and that's a ground ball to second. And Mr. Beckert will make the play. I'm so used to putting it in the Strat-O-Matic where I'm using my keyboard, not my mouse, but this one I'm using the mouse. So that will bring up Steve Carlton, and Steve Carlton is a decent hitter, not the greatest, but he's using number 3. Ferguson Jenkins using hitting card number 1. These are the brand new hitting cards I got, pitcher hitting cards I got. The other ones I have are getting kind of rough looking, so I decided to, when I got the season sets for an extra $1, decided to get the cards. Let's see, Carlton, of course, is a left-handed hitter. It's a 5-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. Center field is Rick Monday. He's a 2-E-1, so he should make the play here, you would think. 2 and a 6, he'll get to it. In the E1, the only errors are a 17, so he will make the play as Carlton does fly out to the center fielder, Rick Monday. Out number 2, and that'll bring up Larry Boa. Back to the top of the order. Boa struck out his first chance. 1-8 for Boa, and he's going to ground it to first, and Pepitone will take it to the bag himself. That's going to do it, but an Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning. That included 3 home runs. And the Phillies are shocking this Wrigley Field crowd by the score of 4-0. And now the Cubs have their work cut out for them coming back against Steve Carlton. But if you get those ballpark blasts, you can do it. Every run was courtesy of the ballpark blast. So Carlton will be facing Ron Santo. That's a 1-5 for Santo. That's a base on balls. So the Cubs got to start somewhere, and getting the base on balls is probably a good way to start. You got to have base runners. So there's nothing wrong with that. So Santo is aboard. He's no threat to run. Here comes Joe Pepitone, former Yankee. And the first havoc roll for Carlton, but nothing happening. Lefty on lefty matchup. 6-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We are looking at Montañez. He's a 3E6 in center field. 3E6. 3-16. That's good all day long. E6 and a 10 shouldn't be an issue at all. Nope, no problems there at all. The 3 and the 16 is an F2, so nobody can move up. It's just a fly to center. Santo has to retreat back to first base. Out number 1. As Pepitone flies out to Montañez. 1 away, and that brings up the catcher, Randy Hundley. 3-6 against the lefty Carlton is a pop out to second base. And that's fielded by Denny Doyle. Quickly 2 away after the leadoff walk. And that brings up Rick Monday. Lefty on lefty matchup. 3-7, and that's another walk. So 2 walks issued here by Carlton in the inning. And that'll keep it going. And flip it over to the number 8 hitter, Don Kessinger. Switch hitter, turnaround bat right-handed against Steve Carlton. Ferguson Jenkins on deck. To 2-5, and that's going to be a single, 2 stars. That'll score a run and send Rick Monday to third. RBI single from Don Kessinger. An RBI single for Kessinger. And the Cubs still have something cooking. Except now they do have Ferguson Jenkins coming up with 2 outs and a runners at the corners. He is using pitcher hitting card should be number 1, I thought, wasn't it? No, they're both using number 3. My bad. They both are using number 3. They both are using number 3 because Ferguson Jenkins does use number 3. All right. Kessinger will be held, but with the pitcher up, they're not going to try to steal and have to have Ferguson Jenkins lead off the next inning. They're going to let Jenkins swing away. That's a 4-6. He is a right-hander. 1-11 is a double, and that is an 11 right on the dot. So how about that? Ferguson Jenkins just cracks a double. Monday will score. We'll see about Kessinger. The double's assumed to go to center field. Kessinger is a 14. He was being held, makes him a 13, but 2 outs makes him a 15. Center field is a -1, makes him a 14. So 1-14, he would score on the double. Ferguson Jenkins runs at a 12. That's his supplementary run rating. So he cannot take third. My rule is 13 or higher. So they will go ahead and try to score him, and they will go ahead and make the throw to the plate. Again, it's a 1-14, being held as a 1-13, +2 is a 1-15, and then the -1 is a 1-14. So it's a 1-14 for Kessinger to score. And he does. So it's a 2-run double from Ferguson Jenkins, of all people, and it's 4-3. I thought we would be getting a stellar pitching performance from both pitchers, but that's not happening right now. Ferguson Jenkins, of all people, cracks the double, a 2-run double in the clutch. How about that? And here's Jose Cardinal. It's 4-3. We've already scored more runs in the first 2 innings than they did the whole game. Here's Cardinal. 6-5, and that's a strikeout for Carlton. But a 3 spot goes on the board for the Cubbies. And at the end of 2 complete, it is Philadelphia 4 and the Cubbies 3. Due up for the Phillies, it'll be McCarver, Montañez, and Johnson. McCarver, Grounded to short his first time up. I'm really liking this direct entry thing. It's so smooth on the Action PC. It's too bad I don't have the technology to show, but playing this and doing that at the same time, but I just don't have that technology. Or I don't know how to use that technology, put it that way. 4-5, and that's a ground ball to second base. So Beckert will take care of that. One away. Just one click for GB and one click for the second baseman, and it already pre-fills 4-3 ground out, and we're good to go. Very, very simple to do. All right, here is Willie Montañez. He struck out his first chance. We get a 3-7, and that's another strikeout. So both pitchers trying to get back on the right track after that rough second inning. And that'll bring up Darren Johnson. That's a 1-5, and that's a walk. So a 2-out walk issued to Darren Johnson. That will keep the inning going. Darren Johnson is no threat to run, so he'll stay put. And here's the bull, Greg Luzinski. Nothing on the havoc. 2-2 for Luzinski is a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. So Ferguson Jenkins gets out of that without any difficulties. And the inning's over. We go to the bottom of the third, still 4-3. I'll tell you what, it's odd because I haven't done a recorded game in so long. I'm used to doing live streams. But actually, it's a kind of a nice change of pace, to be honest with you. I mean, I still prefer, I think, the live streams because I like the interaction. But this one, I got nothing to distract me. I can go. I think I'm going a little bit of a slower pace, which I enjoy more. Sometimes I get a little too fast on those streams, so maybe we're having a little more of a friendly game here. Here's Glenn Beckert. 3-7 against Carlton is a ground ball to second, handled by Denny Doyle. Again, I wish I could show this direct entry thing, but it's just really, really neat. All right, so Beckert is out. One away, and here's Billy Williams. That is a 5-5, lefty on lefty, and that's a strikeout for Carlton. So Carlton with the K takes care of that. 2 down, and that will send us to Ron Santo. Santo walked and scored his first trip. Whoa, hop and dice there. Let's reset this. 112 for Santo. That's a low max. Nobody else is on base, but it is a liner to third. And that will end the inning. So after the end of 3 complete at Wrigley Field, the score is the Phillies 4 and the Cubs 3. Again, not expecting this kind of runs or these kind of runs to be scored in this game. But particularly in Jenkins' case, you get that ballpark blast and you're at the mercy of that Wrigley Field wind. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Just have to see, if they can make it through. So I'm going to try to show something here if I can. I hope it's going to work, but we'll do this for the next at bat. All right, here's Mike Anderson. I'm sorry, not Mike Anderson. It should be Don Money. Don Money. I don't know what happened to Don Money. He got somehow put behind Anderson by mistake. Should be Don Money. Money homered. First time up. We had a 3-11 against a right-hander, and that is a ground ball to third. One away. All right. So let me do this. Before I input it into the game, I'm going to try to show you what I'm doing here. It was a ground ball to third. So what I have to do is take the cursor and click GB. And you can see there, I'll focus in more on the direct entry part. You see I do GB, hit third base, click on that. if it'll click on it. Come on, click on it. There we go. And then you can see it says it fills in already with 5-3 ground out. And you hit go, and it takes it, and we're back over here to our screen, 4-3. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Phillies. 3 runs, 2 hits, and no errors for the Cubs at this point. So let me see if I can show this to where it makes sense. Did I not record this? You know what? I didn't record this. Man, that was messed up. I thought I hit record and I didn't. Oh, well, it's going to seem funny on the stream. Let's try this again. Well, I've already done it, so I have to wait for the next at bat. Oh, well, it happens. Here's Anderson. That's what I get for being low tech. 410 against the righty is a catcher X, and that's going to be Mr. Hundley. He's a 2E2, and that's a 2 and an 11. So a 2 and an 11 under catcher is a pop out. That's a 12, and Hundley is a E2. There is no error there. It's just a pop out. Okay. So Anderson pops out to Hundley. And let's see if I can't get this back the way I had it before. Let's hit record this time. Why don't we? Okay, let's try it this time. It was a pop out. So I move the cursor over to the PO, pop that, do that, and then I click the catcher. Whoops, not the first baseman, the catcher. And there you go. It's got a catcher out. It's got a batter out to the catcher. You hit go, and it took it. And now up to the plate is Denny Doyle. And there is your score board at the moment. 2 outs now in the inning. All right. So this is what I was trying to show. Well, let me do this. Let me so I can see what you guys are seeing. Let's take this. It's a work in progress, folks. Trying to show this without messing things up here. All right, so this is what I'm showing here. What I'm doing right here is I'm clicking on, boy, it's hard to see it, but I'm clicking on the outs there, and you can see that it fills in with the catcher. Boy, I guess you can't really see. It's probably a little bit too blurry to see. My plan's not working out very well. You can see Denny Doyle coming up next, and you can see that's the scoreboard right there at the moment. So, oh well. Tried it, and it just obviously that was a big time fail. So we will go back and do something else. It looks like I might have hit this thing here by accident too. So who knows? First time I'm doing this. When I'm recording, I can't. Sometimes if I'm inputting into the computer, I can't see what's on the webcam screen. So I could be missing some things. There could be some things out of line or whatever. But I'm going to try to keep it right there and not bump into it anymore. And right now we have Denny Doyle coming up. 2 outs, the base is empty for Denny Doyle. Carlton is next. We get a 3-8, and that's a 1-2 home run, but that's a 13, so he will fly to left field, and that will end the inning. So inning is over. There's been at least 4 videos I know of Action PC game direct entry in play. So if you're interested in that, you just search YouTube, you'll find it. You will find it. Oddly enough, all 4 of them have first look. So I don't know the order of when but the 4th guy who did it, obviously it wasn't the first look because I already had 3 looks at it before that. So I never understood the first look thing. I think it's a clickbait tool that some YouTubers use to try to get people to click on it. When you say first look, it's supposed to excite you to go check it out. So I don't know. Just seems weird to me to put first look on it when it's already been done, several times. But that's just me. All right, here is Joe Pepitone against Carlton. Oh, and that didn't go through. Let's get this redone here. 6-5, lefty, and that's a strikeout for Steve Carlton. It's one of the easiest things to put in the direct entry is a strikeout. One click does it. All right, so Pepitone has reached, and actually these 72 cards, as far as quality, aren't that bad. I heard they were flimsy, but these, to me, they're pretty decent. Now the 2020 Imagine ones are like toilet paper. That's how thin they are, like one-ply toilet paper. All right, here's Randy Hundley. 2-6, and that's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. Although I imagine if you wiped your butt with them, they'd probably tear in half, but I don't know. Maybe shouldn't have been that graphic. But anyway, they're poor. Let's just put it that way. And I did send a Strata email and explained to them what had happened. I haven't heard anything back yet. I sent it to them Tuesday afternoon. We'll see if I hear anything back tomorrow. I know it's getting close to Christmas, so we may not. But 5-9, lefty, and that's another strikeout for Carlton. Boy, he has settled down, as has Ferguson Jenkins. They had each one had that hiccup of an inning in the second, and after that, they've kind of really righted the ship here. We go to the fifth, still 4-3. Due up for the Phillies will be Steve Carlton, using pitch rating card number 3. He's a left-handed hitter. 4-10. That's a catcher X. We're going to Hundley. He's a 2-2. 2-7. 2-7 is a P/P. It's a pop out. That's an 8. E2, there's no problem. So it is going to be a pop out to the catcher Hundley. And Mr. Carlton will take a seat. One away. And that's going to bring up Larry Boa. That's a 4-10. Switch hitter batting left. That's another catcher X. Wow, we're going right back to Hundley again. 2-2, but nobody's on base. 2-1, though, might be a hit. 2-1 is going to be an infield single. W/S is an infield single. That's a 6. There is no 6 there. But W/S is a, with no runner on, the batter hits a squib single. So it's a squib single for Larry Boa. 1 out squib single. And we'll see if Boa might be thinking about trying to run. To get a lead, he needs a 2-6 or a 12. Ferguson Jenkins a -1 composite hold with the catcher. So it'd be a 1-12 if he got the lead. 60% chance. That's worth it. 2-6 or a 12. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And with 1 away, here comes Tim McCarver. We get a 3-6, and that's going to be a single to center field. Boa was being held, makes him a 15. Center fielder arm is a -3 Monday. That's going to drop him down to a 12. So he will hold at second base. So back-to-back singles, one of the infield variety and one of the outfield variety. And here comes Willie Montanez. Jenkins trying to keep it a 4-3 game. 1-6, but he's not going to do it. Home run 1-8, and that's a 3. That is gone. This had nothing to do with Wrigley Field. This is strictly Willie Montanez going deep. It's a 3-run home run, and boy, Ferguson Jenkins is getting abused in this one. It is now 7-3, and you got to wonder how much longer they're going to go with Ferguson Jenkins. 7-3 ball game. Darren Johnson, who's also homered in the game. It's been 4 homers by the Phillies in this game. 6-6, and that's going to be a 1-5 triple. 14, though, will make it a single for Darren Johnson. So he singles. That's the 8th hit by the Phillies to go with their 7 runs. Johnson not going to be held. Here's Luzinski, and it looks like there's bullpen activity in for the Cubs. Actually, Bill Hands is loosening the bullpen. He is a starter/reliever, but he doesn't start for a while, so they're going to use him in relief. Bill Hands would be warming up to come in if Ferguson Jenkins can't get out of this inning. Jenkins is set to bat second next inning, so they like to be able to get him to finish the inning. at the very least. 4-5, and that's a ground ball shortstop B. We got a fielder's choice. 6-4 on the fielder's choice. So 2 away, and that will send up Don Money. With Luzinski at first, who's no threat to run, he will not be held. And here's Money. 4-5, and that's a ground ball to short again. So that's going to end the inning. But a 3-run home run from Willie Montañez has given the Phillies a 7-3 lead, and that's going to be it for Ferguson Jenkins. He's going to have to go. He's given up 7 runs in 5 innings of pitching. So not the kind of outing he wanted for sure. But Mama said there'd be days like this. 5 innings, 8 hits, 7 runs, all earned. Let's check his walks and strikeouts really quickly. See what he's done for that. He walked 1, struck out 3. So Bill Hands will be the new pitcher coming on in the top of the 6th. And he's a +2 hold, which makes him a 0, net 0. All right, so Steve Carlton is out. He'll be facing Kessinger, a pinch hitter for Ferguson, and then Jose Cardinal. So if we look at the pinch hitting available off the Cub bench, they have a plethora of pinch hitters available. And let's see, let me close this part here. And let's go to the Chicago roster. Make sure I double check what I've got here. All right. We have the following guys available. Switch hitters, Paul Popovich and Bill North. Right-handers, Ken Rudolph, Carmen Fanzone, Jim Hickman, and then we have lefties, left-handers. It's going to be J.C. Martin, and Art Shamsky, who's not carded. So I still have a plethora of guys to choose from. But with the lefty pitching, we're obviously going with a right-hander. So I'm kind of leaning to Hickman as the potential. It's a 272 hitter, so we're going to use Jim Hickman off the bench. Jim Hickman. He will pinch hit here in the 5th inning. Jim Hickman. So it'll be, but first things first, it'll be Kessinger against Carlton. That's a 2-8, and that's going to be a single to right field for Kessinger. Base hit Kessinger. Leadoff single. And now the Cubs, Leo DeRocha will be bringing in Jim Hickman to pinch hit. Hickman, on the 72 season, hit 272 with 17 home runs. We look at his card here. 272, 17 homers, 64 runs driven in. So Jim Hickman, big, strong, right-handed hitter, is going to pinch hit and see what he can do with the runner at first. They're down 7-3, so they need runs big time. That's a 5-2 for Carlton. That's a ground ball second base X. They were holding Kessinger on, so the second baseman Doyle will now increase to a 3E14 because he's responsible for holding the runner. So 3 and 11, he should still get at least an out of this. Won't get the double play, but he should at least get a force play or something. 3 and 11 is a G2. He will get a force play as long as there's no error. There's a 13. He's an E14. E14, there's no 13 there, so he does get the fielder's choice, 4-6. And the new runner on first base is Hickman, who does not run well at all. So he will not be held. And Jose Cardinal will step to the plate. Cardinal, 0 for 2. 1-8 for Cardinal. He's going to pop it up to short, where Boa will take it. And all of a sudden, we got quickly 2 away, just a runner at first and not much happening for the Cubs. And here comes Beckert. Get a 1-7 for Beckert. He grounds it right back to Carlton to end the inning. So nothing doing there as the Cubs come away empty-handed. And now the Cubs will go to the bullpen and bring in Bill Hands. He was 11-8 with an ERA of an even 3. He had 28 starts, but he did have some relief appearances. And he does not start in the first 4 games of the season. So they are able to use him now, try to get some innings out of him and keep the game close. He'll be facing Anderson, Doyle, and Carlton here in the... He doesn't start till April 23rd. This day is April 15th, so he's good to go to get a couple of innings in right here. So Hands facing Anderson. 4-7, and that is a strikeout. So Hands comes in and strikes out Anderson, 1 away. I like this methodical pace, but I have a funny feeling I might be putting some people to sleep. I don't know. Maybe this is good to watch when you're tired and try to go to sleep. Here's Denny Doyle, 3-9. For Doyle, 1's a triple, anything else will be a single. So it's a 1-out single for Doyle. 1-out single for Doyle. And now Carlton's going to bunt. The infield, of course, will look for that bunt. So he's an A bunter, but now he becomes a B bunter. All the way, a B bunter. First, we got to roll the havoc. That's a 2, so it could be something going on before the bunt even starts. That's a 1. We're checking the balk rate in Hands, but his balk rate is only a 2. So, but he does balk. So how about that? So Hands will balk the runner to second base. So now that takes the bunt out of the equation. You're not going to bunt now after you balk. So a balk has been called on Bill Hands, and that moves Doyle to second base. And now Carlton will come back out and hit with his pitcher hitting card and eschew the bunt because he's already in scoring position. Hands to Carlton. 1-9, and that's going to be a single for Steve Carlton off of pitcher hitting card number 3. He singles. How about that? Base hit. They will hold Doyle at third base. They will hold him at third base. The single's assumed to go to center field, and Mundy's got a -3 arm, and down by 4, you're not going to be taking chances. So actually they're up 4, but they still, with that -3 arm, you really don't need to take any chances, particularly with the pitcher hitting. So take your single and be lucky you got it. Runners are at the corners now with 1 out for Larry Boa. Boa is 1 for 3. The infield is in for the Cubbies. They can't afford a ground ball to score a run. They got to play the infield in. That's a 3-6, and it's a ground ball first base B. It's a good thing they played the infield in. That ground ball B means Doyle is out at the plate. It's going to go 3-2 as Pepitone throws him out. It's a fielder's choice. Carlton will take second base, but the fielder's choice with the infield in, choking that runoff. and not allowing that to score. So that's going to be a fielder's choice all the way to the first baseman. Runner on third is out at home. Runner on second, runner on first actually goes to second, and there we go. That was easy to do in the direct entry as well. So haven't had any problems with it yet. It's been pretty simple to use. So first and second, 2 outs, and here's Tim McCarver. That's a 3-9, and that's trouble for the Cubs again. 3-9, 1 to 11 is a double. That's a 6. It's a double 2 stars. So Boa will have to stop at third base, but scoring is Carlton, and it's now an 8-3 ball game as Hands runs into problems. Double from Tim McCarver rather. 8-3 ball game. 8 runs, 11 hits already for the Cubs. For the Phillies rather. We're just in the 6th inning. Here's Montañez. Second, third, 2 outs. That's a 2-10. 2-10 is going to be a foul out to third. So Santo will get to that and end the inning finally. But another run is across the board. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It is now 8-3. Favor of the Phillies. Carlton back out, and he will be facing Williams, Santo, and Pepitone. Technically the heart of the order. That's who you want if you're the Cubs. These are the guys you want up there. You want these guys to be there. See, I'm a little bit off on the thing here, so let's move this over just a touch so the corner of these cards don't get cut off. All right, here is Billy Williams, 1-9. And that's a fly to right field, loaded in column 1, but not the number 9. Fly ball to right, and that is one away. 1 down, and that takes us to Ron Santo. Santo's 0 for 1. He's walked in line to third against Carlton, who has really settled down since that little hiccup in the 2nd inning. 5-4, right-handed. Ground ball third base X. That's Don Money. He's a 2E11. This is Mr. Money. 2E11, 2 and a 9. 2 and a 9 is a G2. E11 and a 7 at third base. E11, there's a 6 there, but no 7, so it's a good play for Don Money. 2 up and 2 down. That brings up Joe Pepitone. Pepitone, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's a 3-9 against the lefty, and he flies to right field. So another 1-2-3 inning for Carlton, as he seems to have just now be in cruise control, especially with the 5-run lead he's been given. We go to the 7th. It's 8-3. Favor the Phillies. Phillies were a abysmal bunch on the regular season, 59 and 97. It's amazing. Out of the 59 wins, Carlton had 27 of them. So he had almost half the team's wins. Truly amazing. All right, here's Bill Hands. He'll be facing Johnson, Luzinski, and Money. Johnson is 2 for 2, a home run, a single, and a walk. 2-6 this time. He strikes out. So Johnson out on strikes. 1 away. Luzinski. 3-4 for Luzinski, and that's a ground ball to short. 2 away. And, if you want to comment and tell me whether you like this better than the live stream or you prefer the live stream, I won't hurt my feelings one way or the other. I'm just trying to do something a little different. That's all. So here's Don Money. 4-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Kessinger takes care of it. Bill Hands, a 1-2-3 7th inning. We got a 7th inning stretch coming up, but it's not in the morning. I don't have my coffee to heat up, so we're going to go ahead and keep rolling, literally and figuratively, to this bottom of the 7th inning. And due up for the Cubbies will be Hundley, Mundy, and Kessinger. If anybody gets on, probably a pinch hitter for Hands. Get a 6-5, and that's going to be a strikeout. So he struck him out. Strikes out Mr. Hundley. 1 away on that 6-5 result. So now we go over to Rick Mundy, lefty on lefty for Mundy. And he is 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout. 4-10, and that's a ballpark single check. It's a 1-16. That's a base hit for Rick Mundy. Now, we haven't had a ballpark check in a while, and this one is in the favor of the Cubs. Rick Mundy will reach. He will be held, but won't go anywhere. Not down by 5 runs. Here's Kessinger. That's a 5-10 right-handed. That's a ground ball shortstop A. That's a tailor-made Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. 6-4-3 to end the inning. Giovanni's Tailor Shop located in Pennsylvania, backing the Phillies in this one, and are very supportive of that Steve Carlton double play, as you might expect. So ground ball double play. And it went, I'm sorry, it went 6-4-3, not 6-4-3. There we go. All right. So Bill Hands, since he didn't come up to bat, will get to pitch 1 more inning. Then they'll pinch hit for him in the bottom half. Right now it's Anderson, Doyle, and Carlton. 8-3 our score. 6-11 for Hands, and that's a fly ball right field X. Right fielder is Cardinal. He's a 3E9. 3 and a 12, he'll get to that. 3 and a 12 is an F2. That is an 11. He's an E9. There's an 11 right there for a 2-base error. A 2-base error. Cardinal is an E9 as a left and right fielder, E9, and that's an 11. And there's a 2-base error right there. So a blunder there from Jose Cardinal, E9. So a 2-base error on the right fielder. And that will put Anderson at second base with nobody out. And now here's Denny Doyle. Can't blame Hands on that one. 6-4 lefty, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Kessinger, 2E30. 2 and a 10. We'll see what happens with that. 2 and a 10 is a G1, and that's a 9, and he's an E30 at short. E30, there's no 9 there. But the G1 with the runner at second, the runner on second, will have to hold. 6-3 ground out with the runner holding. And that brings up Carlton for another at bat. Singled his last time up. That's a 5-7. That's a fly to center. That's 2 away. And again, with Mundy's -3 arms, they're not going to try to get the runner to third. There's really no need to do that. He's already in scoring position, so there's no sense in risking that. 2 down, and here comes Larry Boa. If he gets him out, it'll be the last batter Hands will have to face, as they're ready to pinch hit for him in the bottom half. 5-6, switch hitter left is a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So that'll do it for Bill Hands. His night is done, or day is done, I guess, in this case at Wrigley Field. Of course, it's a day game. So his day is done. And we will go to a pinch hitter for the Cubbies. They used Hickman first time up. Let's see. They might use Carmen. I think they're going to go to Carmen Fan Zone this time around. Although he only hit 225. But that's better than half the other guys on the bench. Rudolph only 236. So they're going to go with Carmen Fan Zone. He will pinch hit. 225 hitter, 8 home runs for Fan Zone. And then we'll figure out who the new pitcher is going to be in the top of the 9th. Fan Zone pinch hitting here in the 8th. So we'll bring on Fan Zone in the Action PC computer game to get him in at bat against Mr. Carlton. That's a 6-8, and he's going to strike out. So Fan Zone fans struck him out. So he fails in the pinch, and here comes Jose Cardinal. 5-6, and that's another strikeout for Carlton. He seems like he's got his second wind, as he is just mowing him down. And here comes Glenn Beckert. Just had that one hiccup in the second inning. That was it. 1-8, and that's a single, 2-out single for Beckert. But Cubs are going to need a lot more than that to get back in this game down 8-3. Beckert, of course, will not be held. Here's Billy Williams. It's a 4-8 left-handed, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he's not tired till the 9th inning, so the strikeout will stand. And we go to the top of the 9th, and we will need a new pitcher for the Cubs. It is still 8-3. Do it for the Phillies. It'll be McCarver, Montañez, and Johnson, so a couple of lefties. But with the score 8-3, I'm not sure lefty-righty even matters at this point. We'll see who the Cubs want to bring in. They've got these possibilities. They got Rick Russell, Tom Phoebus, Jack Aker, and Bill Bonham from the right-hand side, and they've got Dan McGinn, the lone lefty. And I think they might go to McGinn. He's not that good, but he is a lefty. And when you're down 8-3, you tend to bring in your not that good guys. So Dan McGinn is going to be called in from the bullpen for the Cubbies. He had 2 starts on the season. The first start he makes doesn't come until September the 6th. So there is no threat of using him in relief when a start is coming up. So we're going to use Mr. McGinn here in the 9th inning. Facing McCarver, Montañez, and Johnson. Those are the scheduled hitters. Lefty. 2-5, and that is a pop out to second base. So pops it up to Beckert, 1 away. And I will take a picture of the final box score and everything once all is said and done and show you that best I can. Willie Montañez is a 1-7, and that is a 1-17 double. That's a 5. It'll be a double for Montañez. So Montañez with a 1-out double. And the Phillies not content with their 8 runs. They may be looking for more. They may very well be looking for more. Here comes Darren Johnson. He's homered and singled in this game. 110, and this time it's a ground ball to second base. That'll get the runner to third. But now there are 2 outs. So 2 outs, and Montañez at third. And it brings up the bull, Greg Luzinski. We get a 3-3, and that's a ground ball right back to McGinn to end the inning. So McGinn pitches one solid, gave up a hit, nothing else. Hands went 2 innings. Let's do his number. Let's just make it simple and go the box score. That way I won't mess it up. How about that? That might be the simplest way to do it. So let me go to the box score and get that information for you. For Mr. Hands, Hands went 3 innings. I don't know why I said 2 innings. He went 3 innings, did Hands. 3 hits and a run. No walks and 2 strikeouts. So for the Phillies, they have 8 runs on 12 hits and no errors. 3-5-1 for the Cubs coming up here in the bottom of the 9th. And due up in the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Santo, Pepitone, and Hundley against Steve Carlton. This is his fatigue inning. So if he gives up a combination of 3 base runners, he will become fatigued. But with an 8-3 lead, even if he reaches fatigue, they're going to keep him in there as long as they can and give him every chance to get a complete game. So here's Ron Santo. 1-7, that's a walk. That's not a good start for Carlton. Doesn't want to start walking guys. Got to make them earn it. So he walks Santo. And here comes Joe Pepitone. He's 0 for 3. (1-9), and that's a strikeout. Carlton with yet another strikeout. And that'll bring us to Hundley with Rick Monday on deck. And there's not much left on the bench for the Cubs that's any good. So unless we're hitting for the pitcher, we're going with the starters. 2-6, and that's a ground ball. Pitcher A. It's going to be a double play to end the inning or end the ball game. 1-4-3 double play will take care of things in this one. So let's put this in the computer as a ground ball double play. 1-4-3. One, 4-3 double play, and that will take care of it. And let me take a picture of the box score, the final box score. Show that on screen somehow if I can. Possibly. All right. So there is the final box score. I mean, that glare is horrible on. Let me see if I can turn this off. If that would help or not. It seems like there's too much glare on here. Really a lot of glare here. It's really be hard to see this. If I can turn that up to help or not, I don't know. I don't think it's going to help either. I think that's going to make it twice as bad. Oh, well. Let me see if I can do it with the recording, see if that captures it better. Let me see this. We're trying again, folks. We're going to try something else. See if we can get it to work. So I'm taking that screenshot there with the recording, and now let's go to the actual box score if it gives it to me. I think it will on the computer. Yes, it does. So there is the box score right there. I'll show it to you in just a second, the finalized box score. All right. So let's see if I can get this to work now. It's definitely some interesting stuff here, to say the least. But anyway, there is your box score. Got to tilt this thing, I think, to get it to work. I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't think it did very well like I wanted it to. There's the box score. Again, not showing up very well. Unfortunately, my technology in that is not very good. If I was near a print, if I was downstairs near my printer, I'd print off the box score and show you. But anyway, we'll get the numbers on Carlton. He gave up 5 hits and 3 runs, all earned. He walked 3, struck out 9, and he gets the win. Jenkins takes the tough luck loss. Let's look at the other totals in the game. Left on base, Philadelphia left on 6, and Chicago left on 3. Home runs in the game, Darren Johnson, Don Money, Mike Anderson, and Montañez. So all 4 home runs came off the bats of the Phillies. So that's my first delve into the 1972 card set and ball game. Carlton, your man of the hour, as he gets the win. So aside from the lack of being tech savvy to try to show things on the computer at the same time, hopefully this game went okay. Well, I'll find out after it uploads, but hopefully it did. Like I said, I want to try something different and do a recording, particularly with the direct entry, because I wasn't sure how it was going to go, and I didn't want to run into problems if it was going to be a snafu. So hopefully it went okay. Hopefully you enjoyed that presentation. Since I'm going to be, hopefully I'm doing this on Tuesday night before Christmas, so I'm hoping to upload this for Wednesday, since I may not do a live game Wednesday. Being Christmas Eve, I don't know what our plans are, so I didn't want to assume anything. So figured I would do something in advance just to cover that. So that's going to do it from here. Do hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If I don't get back on and do a video between now and Christmas, hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Spend a wonderful time with your family and friends, and enjoy the fellowship there. And if you are of the Christian faith, remember the reason for the season is Jesus Christ. So if you're into that faith, if you're in a Christ follower, that's a great time of the year to celebrate and, really give special meaning to this time of year. So that's good to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. However choose to play it. I'll see you all down the road. I haven't figured